Jesus. What is that? Works for me.
Somebody just joined.
Let's go. Okay. So we always start the podcast off with what I'm grateful for today, and basically not just today, but all the time. I'm grateful for everything that I have. I'm grateful for my family, my friends, the business aspects I'm doing. I'm just grateful for life. I'm grateful that I opened my eyes today. It's been a crazy week, so I'm happy that I'm happy that I'm here. Most definitely. We're gonna let some people come in, do their thing, and by all means share what you're grateful for. I always love to hear that. What are you most grateful for? What are you most appreciative of in your life? And so, yeah, what an incredible weekend I had. So I just got back yesterday. Wednesday, all my fighters weighed in. All 10 fighters made weight. Thursdays we started the fight, and Sunday we had our last bouts for the championship days. Came home with the big homie Justin winning a title. So for a year he gets to say he is the best in his division in all of North America. So that's a great honor. He worked really hard for that too. Like he had a knee injury that basically put him on the sidelines for a month, maybe even 6 weeks, where he was just coming in and watching and taking notes and doing little things that he could, but he never gave up on himself. He never quit, and he just kept going. And like the belt was the outcome, which was dope. And I was really happy for him because he's had a lot go on in his life, and that's super dope. Plus, he's an older guy, 40-something years old. So, but all the fighters put in the hard work, and you know I'm gonna end up having a couple episodes of the podcast where I'm going through the fights, going through the commentary, breaking the fights down. What up, Grace? Basically critiquing myself. I should have probably made this call better. I should have done a better job explaining this. Right away after the fights, I think about that stuff, and it's like, oh man, maybe I could have done this differently or this differently, and just critiquing myself and preparing myself for the next round of battles. And so it's crazy to think about. So taking amateur fighters that have no fight experience, getting them prepared for war, and experiencing this with them, it's emotionally draining, mentally draining. So, but super dope. I wouldn't change it for the world. It was a great experience as always. There were some crazy moments, fighters getting tattoos after the fights. I always love seeing the other beauty about being there is that there's so much respect going on. So you get to chop it up with fellow coaches and friends that you haven't seen in a while, and we get to watch some dope fights. So all across the board, it was really, really cool, really dope, and I'm proud of everybody. There were just some moments that had me thinking deep about certain things, and I remember talking about it with the other coaches and really breaking down like I'm really happy I'm dumb. And what I mean by that is there's so many people that I call upper brain thinkers that I know that everything has come easy to them, and the things that don't come easy, they avoid. And I'm kind of dumb. When something doesn't come easy, it's like I double down on that. It's like I want to make it. I want to be successful at this. I want to go after this, and it's the hardest thing as a coach, that is like trying to get someone who's not, that is highly intelligent and really doesn't, if they don't want to do it, they don't do it. And it's like if it feels uncomfortable, they don't go after it, they just avoid it. They just never want to feel uncomfortable with things. And so they either don't confront a person because they want to avoid conflict, because they don't want to feel uncomfortable, or they just choose never to do something because they never want to engage with that conflict. And trying to take those people and prepare them for a war when they've never been in that type of situation is always one of the things that I find most difficult, because in a fight, eventually, especially at this level, the techniques aren't like, someone isn't so high up that they're just dog walking everybody, right? At some point, you got to bite down and go forward. And so trying to get those people that have never, that never have or rarely bite down and go forward, it's crazy to me. And a few of them bit down and they really went forward. They went after it. I mean, most of them did, to be honest with you. Most of them bit down. They were able to go forward. They were able to like push through themselves. And then, but there's moments where it's like, you could tell that lack of experience, not just technically, but lack of experience of being in those moments where stuff is getting really hard and they're just struggling with it. They're struggling with being in the eye of the storm. And as a fighter, that's where you're going to spend most of your time, is right dead ass in the middle of that storm. And the hardest one that really led to why I'm talking about this is we had a fighter who lost last year, was in a war last year and lost a close decision, but he beat that guy so bad the guy couldn't fight the next fight for the championship. And our fighter turned it down. He didn't want to go for it. So it was like, that's not my style, but fine. He was hurt. He didn't want to go for it. Cool. I'm going to support that decision. You're not quitting because you chose not to enter that one. Fine. That's not quitting to me. Cool. I'm going to roll with whatever you want to do. And this year he trained his butt off. He lost a crap ton of weight and got in there in the best shape that he's been in. And he beats the crap out of this kid for a round. He just dog walks this kid in the first round. I'm like, okay, cool. 10-9 round, we won that round. Dope. Let's do it again. But he's gassed. And now the second round, he's just talking crap. He hits his kid, talks crap. Hits his kid, talks crap. And it's like, why aren't you putting this kid out of his misery? You're just allowing this kid to come back and fire back at you. And it's like, if you've seen the Rocky, what I think is Rocky 4, when he's fighting the Russian. Like, imagine the Russian beating the crap out of Rocky and then just throwing his hands up and waving for him to come on because he's tired. It's like, that's what it was like in there. And I'm like, what are we doing? And I chew him out. I'm like, stop talking crap. Put this kid out of his misery. Punch him in his face and knee him through his soul. And he doesn't do it in the third round. It's like he is just content with what he's done. And it's like, what is going on here? And he said, I thought I won the first 2 rounds. And I'm like, where? I didn't say anything like that. Did I give the impression that you, like, come on. Put this kid out of his misery. Put him down. Let's seal the win. Don't assume you have it. Seal the win. Lock in that victory. And we lost a decision. And it's like, it hurt so bad because it was like watching someone quit by talking crap. because it's not like you were like it's not like you're waving them in and you're staying there and you're having a dog fight. It's like there was no dog fighting. It was just mind blowing, and I still don't understand it. And when the fighter asked me what I thought, I was honest about it. And we told him basically go back and watch that fight. And don't look at it from I'm proud of myself, because he said he was proud of himself. I'm like, don't look at it from, my other coach said, don't look at it from that point of view. Look at it from the point of view of somebody that's just watching a fight. You're just watching a fight. And see how that makes you feel. And when I said, and then I told him, I'm like, look, man, I'm like, you didn't finish the job. And I take that personal, because that means I didn't prepare you to finish that job. I take that personal. And it's like, it leads me to this whole thing, and I've talked about it on episodes before. It's like, we live in a society where it's just like nobody's willing to push past their comfort zones. It's like, oh, it makes me uncomfortable. Leave me alone. Let me walk away. Are you like, and I know for the past 5 generations, everybody, every 10 years, that generation's like, oh, this generation's weak. This generation's weak. And I know, and I get it. I get it. I understand it. And it makes me sound like I'm an old man. And it's just like, what's wrong with being uncomfortable? What's wrong with diving in pain? What's wrong with pushing yourself outside your comfort zones? What's wrong with saying, I'm going to do something and sticking to your word, regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of how tired you are, regardless of whatever? Finish the journey. Finish it out. Finish it out with pride. Finish it out where you know you gave everything. Because I asked this fighter, I'm like, if you were gassed, then why were you talking? And it hurts my heart so much, because this kid has had the potential to win that belt. And when you see someone with so much potential and they just continuously give up on themselves, continuously not push themselves, continuously just like whatever, it's like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I could get it as a kid, right? I could get it when you're in middle school. I can understand you doing that when you're in high school, because you don't know. But when you're grown, come on, man. Like, how can you do that to yourself? How could you what's the word I'm looking for? How could you make that choice? Yeah, how could you sabotage yourself? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Like, where do you go from here? It's gonna hurt so much. Like, I watched my old fights. I fought at this tournament multiple times. I remember those moments of running out of gas, but still throwing something, still trying to fight, still trying to, like, it was never like, oh, come on. Oh, no, it was like, oh, I don't have anything left in my gas. Like, I don't know how I'm going to finish this. Just swing, just do something, go forward. Oh, he drops me on the ground. Oh, I got to get up and I got to keep fighting. Like, I'm mad at myself that I didn't have the cardio. It made me a monster. It made me come back even harder. It made me come back like, so I understand running out of gas, but like, what? That's, and I don't know. I don't even know how I can. All I can hope for is that after watching the fight, it hurt his soul. After watching the fight, like, his heart is like, man, I had it. And I hope he takes that and uses it. Because there were a few fighters that obviously that cried. And it's like, yeah, it hurts good. And I told, like, we had a 17-year-old kid fight. Man, he's about, like, I've never seen anyone, it's just like a switch hit. He was quiet and chilling, and all of a sudden he's just bop, 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 bouncing. Like he's just losing his mind, dancing. And he gave me everything he had in both his fights. He won the first one, lost the second one. He lost for the championship. And I seen him in tears, and I gave him a hug. I'm like, let it hurt, man. Let it hurt. Let it drive you. Take that pain. Become better. And it's like, it's so hard for me to, like, be nice because everything in me is a villain. Like, I'm preparing for a war myself, and it's like I'm putting in so much bag time just on my own. And I'm trying to explain to these people, like, if you want this bad, you got to work on your own. You can't just rely on training with your coaches. You got to go train on your own. You got to put in the bag time. You got to put in the work. And it's like, I hope they all get it now. But it goes back. Hey, Corey, could you thank you. Because I don't know if anybody, there is no win or lose.
I mean, you only learn.
Yeah, I guess you only learn from it. Yeah, I mean, from that aspect, I get what you're saying. There's no win, no lose, but I mean, there is. You do learn from it, but you learn from it. You don't learn from it from the fight. Everything helps you prepare for that fight. And then, yeah, I guess you can learn from the fight too, of course. It's just, I don't know what is going on why we want such a soft, civilized society. Like, at some point, when is it too far? When are we going too far one way? Like, I'm the type of coach, I don't want participation points. I don't want points just because I showed up. I want what we earn. I don't want anything else. And I'm a caveman. Like, I'm just realizing that I'm a caveman, that I see the world differently. I see the world, for lack of a better word, very black and white. It's really simple to me. And it gets complex when people add in so many other things. Well, this hurt my feelings. Well, then don't talk to me. Don't talk to me then. If it's going to hurt your feelings, then don't talk to me. Right? I'm not the person that you should have in your life. If you're going to give up on yourself, don't be around me. I'm not going to be around you, first of all. I'm not going to want to be around you. I'm not going to want to talk to you because I don't know what to do with that. I'm not going to know what to say to that. What up, Luna? Luna in the building. Like, it's funny because on the way home, I'm listening to Patrice O'Neal. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Patrice O'Neal is, but he's a rest in peace. He's a dope comedian who passed away, that had radio shows, and he was the first one that, I guess, he was the first one that really was that, like, what they call red pill now, where he would talk about his viewpoint on women, right? His viewpoint on the world. And it really got me thinking. I'm listening to JP Smooth. That's dope. That's dope. I appreciate that. She earned it by saying she loves my energy. So there we go. Y'all funny though. Y'all heavy duty funny. But, like, he's talking about how women showing off their body parts, right, at work. And he was like, I just want to be able to come up to a woman and just say, hey, I like your upper titty meat.
What?
And it's like, oh, you know what? I get it. Because I'm a caveman. It's like if a woman walks by, right, wearing some revealing clothes or tight clothing, tell me what man isn't going to sneak a peek. If you got a dude walking by, cut up, tell me what woman's not going to look, right? And it's like we live in a cookie cutter world. And I was telling Tyler, Corey, I was telling him this. I'm like, you know what's crazy? Is over the next 50 years, the men in Ukraine are going to be completely different. Because they're fighting a war. That country is going to be completely different for the next 50 years. These men are going to look at the world differently. And I see the world from I call it a simple place. It's like if you don't like what I'm saying, then don't listen. And I know that's so weird. And what do they call? Do they call that red pill? I don't know if they call that red. Whatever they call it. It's like, if I don't want to hear you, I'm gonna shut you off. If I don't want my kids to listen to something, I shut it off. It's really that simple. And it's like, why are you just listening to your feelings? Why are you just not pushing? I'm like, it's so hard for me to understand. Man, I felt like I couldn't go anymore. Do more. Like I remember my first time fighting at the TBAs. I won the first round, lost the second round. In that third round, I lost. I was taking shots in my head, like I got kneed in the head, kicked in the mouth, and I still kept coming forward. It was like I made a choice. I'm not going down. You're not putting me out. Not happening. I don't know, man. Like, I look forward to bringing down the fights and you guys hearing me and seeing the fights. And when you see this fight, you're going to be blown away. You're going to be like, what? And it's to me, it's so disrespectful to the rest of the fighters because you had an opportunity to win. It was there. And you didn't take it. Princess, what's up? And it's like that, to me, that is across the board. One, that's on me as a coach because obviously I didn't do something right. And two, it's such a societal problem because we encourage people to listen to their feelings more than actually do something. To do something with their lives. I don't feel like going to school, so I'm not going to go to school. I don't feel like going to work, so I'm not going to go to work. It's like, is it even that hard to be successful anymore? Because if the majority of the people aren't doing anything to be super hyper successful, then how hard is it really to be successful? You got to work hard. Well, I don't want to do the work. What do you... I want to throw something so bad. I'm irritated as hell. See what's up. Basically, man, what I was saying was understand that we don't have any limitations. We put limitations on ourselves. That doesn't mean that we could do anything that we want. But if we work hard, like if I have one working foot from Georgia, that's what's up. If I have one working foot, right? I'm probably never going to be able to run super fast. If I really tried really hard and worked my butt off, I could run faster than what I can right now, right? That makes sense. But all the work I put into that is going to help me with something else in my life. So I can work really hard to attain the goals that I want in my life and to go after the things that I want in my life. And I may not reach that mountaintop. I may not make it to the top of that. But all that work that I'm going to put into that is going to help me somewhere else. And when I do reach that mountaintop, there's a whole nother mountain that I have to climb, right? I have to go higher and higher and higher and higher. So it's like, why is that such a hard thing for people to learn? This is why I say I'd rather be stupid. I'd rather be not stupid. I'd rather be dumb. I'd rather be a caveman. I'd rather know that every man is going to look at my wife, and that 99% of the population of the male population would sleep with her if they had a chance. I'd rather know, like, why think something else? Because we live in a feelings world. What? I'd rather, and I've said this before, I'd rather have a racist just tell me they're racist. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather deal with it up front. Don't hide it. I've never been in the military. I've never went and served. I've never went into war like that. Most of my childhood, I said it this weekend, I've spent more time fighting in my life. I've spent more than half my time fighting in my life than I have not. The world is really simple. You want something, you have to go after it. And it doesn't matter about your feelings. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it hurts. You got to go after it. I work hard not to be a villain. I work hard to not be a villain. Because I'd rather just be the most selfish person in the world and say, forget everything else. Which gives me the ability to conquer certain areas of my life. And it's like, if you want to be a hero, at some point you're going to be a villain in somebody's eyes. And when people are like, oh, what do you mean by that? The way I explained it with Tyler is like, go back to the last Superman movie, right?
Man of Steel?
Man of Steel. That's when he fights General Zod, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He destroyed, he was a hero to Earth. Who was he a villain to? Krypton. And then let's dive a little deeper. When it was just him and General Zod and they're fighting, how many buildings got destroyed in that fight? How many people got hurt probably in that one? How many people died because of that fight? The greater good. He saved the planet so a few people can die. That's okay because he saved the planet. And it's like people don't think like that. I'm going to be great so I can provide the best life for my family. But I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I'm going to stop it. Or it's hurting my feelings, so I'm going to stop it. You know what? I'll get even more personal. I try to explain this to my wife, right? And I've talked to so many men about this. Corey, you're going to have to let me know if this applies to you. I'm a patient man, right? I'm patient as hell. I don't want to actually go to war with my wife. I don't want to argue. I don't want to have that. I don't want to do none of that. Nothing. At the same time, I'm not going to tolerate, I don't want to hear any kind of tone. I don't want to, like, just don't talk to me any kind of way. Because if you do, now we're going to go to war. And now we got to argue. And it's like, if you're the person that doesn't like to fight and argue, then why even start? Does that make sense to you, Corey?
Makes sense.
I'm okay. I'm a villain. I'm okay with fighting. I'm okay with it. It wakes me up. It tunes me in. I become focused. I don't want to lose. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. My logic brain is going to click the hell on, and now all your emotional feelings, I'm about to slice, dice, and cut up. And it's like, man, I see things now, man. And it's why I don't get on Facebook. Like, it's set to schedule posts on its own. Like, I get on there. I rarely read anything, man. I don't like Instagram. I get on TikTok and make sure my posts go up and make sure that I'm interacting with my fans. But it's like, is the world this stupid? This one's gonna be funny, Corey. I had a debate over a video with someone, and like just a friendly debate, nothing too crazy. Because this woman on a video said, the guy asked her, if you could cure 70% of mental, what's it called, if you could cure 70% of mental illness, but women had to lose the right to vote, would you do it? And she said no. And he said, okay, if you can improve kids' intelligence, like their education, 70% of the kids' education, but you had to remove the woman's vote, would you do it? And she said no. And he said, so basically, you're going to choose your rights over the greater good of everybody, of improving society. And she said yes. And that was mind-blowing to me. Because I'm gonna get to that in a second. What you think about that, Corey? Let me ask that first.
I find that interesting. I'm still to be honest, I'm still digesting.
Like, people choose their own personal interest over the greater good. And watch how, okay, follow me here. Now, when I tie that back into the fighter that chose not to go forward, he didn't even choose the greater good of himself, future self. He chose what would feel good now over what would feel good a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. What greater good he could have been and done for his family. Because when I'm about to say this, his dad was out there watching. His dad came to watch. His dad agreed with what I said when he asked me about what I thought at the house. So that's mind-blowing to me. I'd rather be a caveman, dumb, and a villain any day of the week. As a married man, I've learned not to say too much in a conversation that poked the bear. See, so if you don't want to fight, right? If you're not down to argue, if you don't want no parts of that, cool. Like, and I get that. I just don't like dumb. I don't like stupidity. Right?
That makes me think, would this woman choose her own life over the life of her child if she had a child? Because the same thinking is, if a car is going to hit my child, I'm gonna self-preserve myself and let the car hit the child instead of doing something selfless, which is pushing the child out of the way or trying to take the brunt of the car to save somebody else outside of yourself.
Like,
that's the same line of thinking, so that doesn't.
It doesn't line up. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I can look, man. Women, until they have kids, I get it. They might put themselves above everything else, and then they have a kid, and a lot of times they'll put a kid first. A lot of times, not always, and I know. But it's like, as men, we put a woman first, don't we? We put the kids first, don't we? Over ourselves. When I do self-defense seminars, some of the things I talk about with these women, and it's funny because sometimes they have a facial expression that's a little different until I start busting out the rest. I was like, if you're walking with your man should be on the curbside. And sometimes I'll get a look, or sometimes they'll make a sound, and I'm like, why wouldn't they? I'm like, you do realize that sex trafficking is kind of high right now. And they could just come snatch you right there. It's like they could drive up and snatch you and dip set. There's certain reasons why things were set up the way they were set up. And it's like, we want things to be so equal and care about people's feelings so much that now that's all we listen to is feelings. And I get it, man. Like, I put a gun to my head and I was ready to blow my head away over my feelings. I still showed up the next day to work. That's the crazy things, man. Like, I get it. You get, like, your feelings can take over your mind if you let it. I get it. I understand it. But that's where you got to fight back. You got to go to war. You got to bite down. You got to go forward. And it's so frustrating. It's like we become so smart, we're dumb. It's like the world is simple. I'm not sitting here, when I say all the man stuff, I'm not sitting here saying that women shouldn't have rights. And I'm not sitting here saying that things should go back to how they were. I'm not saying that. But why can't we have some of the things that we had back in the day and add some of the new stuff? That seems like common sense. It's like, if you put me in a ring or a cage with a woman, like, come on. You put a woman on a football player? Come on. Could you imagine the greatest, take 5 WNBA stars right now and put them against 5 NBA stars. Who's winning that game? So it's like, come on, B. And everybody's arguing about feelings. I'm sitting there saying, like, stop arguing about feelings. We can't argue about someone's feelings. Feel the way you want to feel. Feel it. Cool. I'm not going to argue with it. So let's not argue about the feelings. We're not going to argue about that. But we are going to have a conversation about the facts. And we are going to have a conversation about how is your feelings helping you? The best way I broke it down is like, let's say, you know what? I asked Tyler this question. I said, Tyler, how many push-ups can you do in a row? He said about 25, 30. I was like, cool. What if you decided that you were going to do 100? He was like, well, in one setting. I'm like, why does that matter? Just say you're going to do 100 push-ups. You put an X on the floor, right? Put an X, and you're going to stay there. And you're going to say, I'm doing 100 push-ups. I'm not leaving X until my 100 push-ups are done. Who cares how long it takes? Who cares how many times you got to stop? Who cares? I'm not stopping until that 100 is done. Your feelings aren't going to say, get out of there. Your feelings aren't going to say, I'm in pain, stop. Your feelings aren't going to say a whole bunch of craziness. But once you said you were going to do something, you have to do it. And when you're done with those 100 push-ups, imagine now how much power you have over your own mind. Kobe said it, don't negotiate with yourself. I don't want to eat chicken and rice and vegetables every day, but I'm preparing for war. I've lost over 10 pounds just eating a little differently and training. I'm still training. I'm still doing some of the same training I was doing before. No whiskey. Like, I wanted to have a whiskey so bad. My other coach bought a bottle of whiskey. I wanted to drink it so bad. Oh my God, I can't. Why? Why am I going to do that to myself? I cannot negotiate with myself on that. Not on that. I can't. Because I can have a burger, right? I can have a burger with some vegetables. Because I'm still going to get the right amount of, I'm going to get protein, I'll get calories. That's not going to kill me, right? But the moment I add that whiskey, there's nothing in that whiskey that can help me prepare for a fight. Nothing. So I'm not going to add it. I'm not going to do it. When I got home yesterday, all I wanted was to go buy a bottle of whiskey. Nope, not going to do it. No negotiation with myself. I don't want to train today. You know what I'm going to do? For an hour straight, I'm going to work my jab, my cross, my hook, my front teeps, and my leg kicks, my elbows, my knees. Tomorrow, I'm going to lift, I'm going to do whatever my trainer says I got to do. Like, there's no negotiating here. I don't feel like doing it any day. I was at home, like, I didn't have to come in here. I didn't have to work this morning. I still showed up. I set goals. I haven't reached those goals. So why would I listen to my feelings? What's he saying? Not for sale?
For who?
Yeah, that's what men do. Not for sale. Yeah, basically. Okay, that hit different. I need help ignoring other people's opinions. Hey, wait a minute. Rez, whatever your name is. Are you still in here? Damn. Well, this is for anybody else. You need help ignoring other people's opinions? It's really easy. Do they want you to succeed in life? Do they want you to succeed in life and be better than they are? If they don't want to see you doing better than them and genuinely want to see you win, then their opinions do not matter. Period. Done. Easy. Like, that's a dope thing about being a dad. My son and I were talking as I was getting ready for bed, because he's sitting there wearing shorts, he's wearing a tank top, and he's got a little chain. And I'm like, kid, why you dressed like me right now? I'm like, why are you trying to be like me? And he was like, I'm not trying to be like you. I'm gonna be better. I'm like, yeah, you are. You're gonna be better than me in every sense of the word. And trust me, kid, I'm the only man in your life that actually wants you to be better than him. I am rooting for you to be better than me in every sense of the word. Be smarter than me. Be stronger than me. Be faster than me. Have a better heart than me. Conquer the world. Like, and for him, he's learning how to not listen to his feelings. But he's 14. I expect that from a kid. You're fighting those demons now. Man, those demons they're never, look, I tell people all the time, like, and some people don't get it. I'm constantly fighting with myself in my mind. Until I start doing the things that I want to do. Like, I haven't been fighting my own demons in my mind right now because I'm doing what I want to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. When I'm at the gym teaching, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's really simple, man. The moment your feelings start kicking in and those demons start playing in your head, go do something with yourself. Go conquer the world somehow. Like I said, man, I see the world real easy. And I know it's like a caveman. I know there's I know that there's less than 10 people in my life that would sleep with my wife or sleep with my daughter. I know there's less than 10 people personally in my life that would probably, if they were given an opportunity to be successful in their life and it cost me everything, there's probably less than 10 people that would make that choice. I hope I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right? I think I'm saying that right. Basically, what I'm saying that I can't even fill up all these fingers with the amount of people that I don't have 10 people in my life that wouldn't want to see me. They would choose my downfall for them to succeed. And I'm okay with that. Cool. That's why I drive so hard. And the fact that people think another way, it's like, are you crazy? What in history have you learned that tells you something differently? What you think, Corey? Am I off my rocker here?
No.
I don't know, man. I know I'm frustrated today. It is what it is. I'm gonna be frustrated for a minute. I'm gonna beat the crap out of a bag, and it's just gonna get worse because I'm getting ready for a fight, and it's when I feel the most at home with myself. You know what, Corey? You know what it is? I dipped my toe and tried to become a civilized person.
Mm.
You know what? There. I'll admit it. I tried. I tried so hard. I tried to listen to feelings and follow feelings and like, yeah, let me. And you know what? It's stupid. It's not that I can't do it because I did it. It just is stupid. Because the moment you start listening to all these feelings and listening and logic goes out the window. And you can't conquer the world that way. Now, do I have to be 100% evil villain? No. How has rebuilding trust with people changed your life? Man, wow. You just hit me with a... It's not about rebuilding trust with people. I just know people are who they are. So, for instance, I've had women in my life that have cheated on me and lied, right? It's not about trusting them again. It's about knowing that's who they are. I'm not with them. That's who they are. That's not what I want in my life. Period. If somebody screwed me over, so let's say, how can I put this? Man, I'm trying to think of different examples. If someone stole money from me, right, then I don't have to trust them again. I just know I can't leave money around them. That's who they are. Now, could they change and apologize and give me back that money and do, okay, yeah. And maybe over time, maybe I leave a little money around. But I also know, like, do I need them around? Does that make sense? Like, trust people to be who they are. Quote by DMX. That's all you got to trust, and trust that you're strong enough to handle it. You're strong enough to deal with it, right? And just be you. That's the issue right there with people. When you listen to your feelings, you're not necessarily, you put other people, boom, there it is. When you listen to and pay attention to just feelings and you allow listening to feelings run the show, you spend too much time putting other people above who you are. For what reason? You're not supposed to have a million friends. So, Jordan, can you give me a more specific situation? How has rebuilding trust with people changed your life? I don't even know if I've had to rebuild trust with. I'm trying to think of situations. Like, the best way I can say it is like, I just trust that they are going to be who they are. Most people are going to choose themselves. And I got to be okay with that if I want them in my life. Does that make sense? Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. It's like, man, I don't know. Any situation I've had where someone has done something, if I could just remove them out of my life. Yeah, thinking you were tight with coworkers, family, friends, and they hurt you. Yeah, but I necessarily don't want them out of my life. So the first thing I would say is I can understand your feelings and not wanting them out of your life, but if they're causing you pain, how is it serving you? How is that helping you? Right? If they're doing something that's pulling you back or hurting you or keeping you from being the best version of yourself, then what is the point? Next, I'll say, are they doing it intentionally? Or have you and if not, have you communicated, hey, yo, when not so much coworkers, because coworkers aren't family and friends, they're just people you work with, but like definitely family and the friends aspect. Like, are you letting them know that what they're doing or what they've done hurt you and cause you pain? So like if my younger brother was like, I'm trying to think, if my younger brother, like my younger brother doesn't like being around people too much. And so he doesn't come to like a lot of social gatherings. If I'm doing something with my kids or if there's something I want him to come to and he doesn't make it, I could tell him that, yo, this hurt that you didn't make it. I also understand. And at the end of the day, it's my choice whether I want to interact with my brother or not. Because I know he doesn't want to be around people. So I accept him for being him or I remove him from my life because I don't want to accept him. Does that make sense? Like, I don't have to accept it. I could just remove it from my life. If I choose to accept it, then that's who he is. Just like just like I tell my wife, you don't like the fact that I don't know what I don't read tones very well. You chose a caveman. Don't complain about the caveman you chose. You chose a caveman. So if I don't understand tones, I'm like, and it's not that I don't understand tones. I don't understand most white people's tones. I'm okay with that because I'll just ask, what you mean by that? All right, is everything cool? You sounded like, And if someone doesn't, if that bothers someone, that's their problem. You know what I'm saying? Like me asking so I understand you, that shouldn't bother you. But if it does, oh well, that's you. That's on you. You got to deal with why that bothers you, right? So it's like, and if you have communicated with them and they're still doing it, they might need a timeout. And when they come at you and say, man, is everything good? Why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you interacting with me? I've asked multiple times for you not to do this, and this is still happening. I don't want that in my life. So I just had to choose to remove myself because I understand that it's who you are. You do this, but I'm not at a stage in my life where I know how to handle that, where I know how to accept that, where I know how to deal with that. Because at the end of the day, if somebody does something that bothers you, that is a you problem, not a them problem. You can communicate it and maybe they could change it. But just like I just said, my wife could say, oh, it annoys me that you don't understand tones like this. Okay, it can annoy you, but this is who I am. I'm going to ask if I'm unsure. Because to me, if I ask and you tell me, I'm always good. It's 100% right. If I don't ask and I just jump out the gate and assume, it's 50-50. You tell me I can place a bet and be 100% right or place a bet and be 50-50. Let's let logic kick in. I want to be 100% right if I can. That makes sense. So I'm going to ask. I spent a lot of time talking to myself, Jordan, to be honest. Journaling helped a lot. I still write. If it's really bad, I'll write for sure. And I'll write what I'm thinking, right? I'll just write out what I'm actually thinking, what I'm feeling. But usually I'm an audio person. I like to talk it out. And so I got to talk it out with myself. So, training, like a good training session, whether it's hitting the bag, lifting weights, doing something like that, that'll help. Just reminding myself of what I'm grateful for. Like it's when you start listing what you're grateful for, like when I say, hey, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for the gym, I'm grateful for life, I'm grateful that I woke up today, I'm grateful for the sun, the earth, the trees, the grass, the water, the sand, the dirt, the animals. Like, it's really hard to be sad. It's really hard to be in my head and think about all the things that I don't have. I have so much. Like, I'm 44 years old. I didn't expect to be here. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that God hasn't stopped talking to me, because there were times I for sure wasn't listening. So I'm grateful for that, right? And so, yeah. Do you feel more empathetic than most people? If so, does it affect how you overthink about things? Yeah, yeah, for sure. I believe I'm more empathetic in a lot of ways because of the trials and tribulations that I've been through. So for me, you know, dealing with a lot of abuse, and I now know I can't say the R word on here, so dealing with gape and dealing with being gaped and dealing with different kinds of physical and mental abuse, it's allowed me to see the world differently, and it allows me to be empathetic. And most of the time that empathy comes from, again, insecurities. Like, I can see so many different people and understand it because I've felt like that. I have felt like that. I have felt when I know how much it hurts to have family members cause me harm. I know what it feels like to have people I thought were my friends cause me harm. I know, you see what I'm saying? Like, when you've been through stuff, it's like it's easy to understand that. And the biggest thing I could say is that you got to learn how to wear a hazmat suit. Like, you don't need to take everybody else's emotions on. You don't have to take everybody else's feelings on. You don't have to take everybody else's problems on. That's theirs. I don't have to solve their life. If they want to vent to me, cool. If they want to talk, cool. But like, even this, I'm not going to take this with me. Right? I could be empathetic. I can have empathy for you and feel for you and understand, but I'm not going to take that with me because that's not my journey. That's your journey. I love you too, brother. So it's like, you got to just understand that your path is meant for you. And keep walking it. Keep walking it. And the people that walk that path with you, that's dope. Sometimes it's not, they don't get to walk the whole way with you. All right. But before this internet cuts out again and we run into more problems, let's jump offline. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank you for the people that kept tuning in and out. I appreciate y'all, man. And yeah, you control you, baby. Holla at y'all later. Peace.